2 weeks later, that very sister, she has 3 sisters. That very sister came down of all the sisters. And one day when we're leaving the hospital, that very sister was standing at the foot of the bed praying for her. And I was like, wow. That even gave me confidence that, hey, Charlie, Marlen is seeing visions. Oh, right, this one, yeah. God is like talking through her. So we are going to make it out of this. And then she died. And I was confused, not knowing that, God was preparing an even bigger testimony for us, right? Or albeit not how we envisaged it. Hello, my name is Claud Hutchful. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Dream Mobile Limited, a fintech in Ghana. I'm also a father of 2 girls. I'm a widower. I lost my wife last year, January 11th. And essentially, this is the story of how God has been walking with me through the valley and leading me out of the valley of post this tragedy that fell on my family. So Marlen was diagnosed of acute myeloid leukemia, which is a blood cancer, a very aggressive form of blood cancer. With the prognosis isn't good at all. And we got this diagnosis, let's say on a Wednesday. On a Friday, we were at Kolebu, and she would never return from the hospital. We went through chemotherapy. We went through all kinds of treatments. We had to do lots of blood transfusions, and it was essentially a very harrowing time for her and for me and the family. One of my key verses in the Bible that has really helped guide me and draw me closer to God is my deeper understanding, a renewed understanding of Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11 says, Hebrews 11, 1-3 says, now faith is is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. This verse basically speaks to the fact that this world and this existence and this plane was created out of something that we do not see. It basically communicates that there's something larger at play. There is a God. There is somebody who has brought us to this world as ambassadors to serve his purposes. These purposes that Marlen served for him, and through his sovereignty decided that she would be called back home. This understanding of the world, this understanding of God that I have gained through this walk in the valley where he's been really close to me and my family, is what has given me and the family the healing. And we're still being healed, but it's what has helped us to, hope again, to wait on him, to understand his purposes as we, start a new chapter without Marlen. Just a day before we went to the hospital, we had a friend, a man of God, tell Marlen, have faith. He didn't say anything about healing or anything. He just said, Marlen, have faith, right? And I was a bit confused, and I was like, well, okay, have faith. Then look, we're gonna have faith, and we're going to come out of this, and we're gonna have a wonderful testimony. Right, not knowing that God was preparing an even bigger testimony for us, right? Albeit not how we envisaged it. Now, to tie this in, it starts off with a series of dreams Marlen had. The first dream being one where she saw a big black wave coming to hit her and the children, and her calling me in that dream. And she said in the dream that I wasn't. I didn't see what she was talking about till it was really late, right? However, I managed to pull our two daughters to higher ground. And by the time she turned around, the black wave hit her and she woke up. So I was like, okay, fine, let's pray about it. So we prayed about it. That following weekend, we end up in the hospital. 2 weeks later, we find out that she has leukemia. In the hospital, she has another dream that her sister, one of her sisters, was at the foot of the hospital bed praying for her. 2 weeks later, that very sister, she has 3 sisters, that very sister came down of all the sisters. And one day when we're leaving the hospital, that very sister was standing at the foot of the bed praying for her. And I was like, wow. That even gave me confidence that, hey, Charlie, Marlen is seeing visions. Oh, right, this one, yeah. God is like talking through her, so we are going to make it out of this. And then she died. And I was confused. And I was just like, so what were those dreams about? I mean, is this a sick joke? Why would you dream that you're dying? Why would you dream that your sister came to pray for you and then you die? Like, what was the point of the dreams? And then I remember one evening, I was telling her sisters that God needs to show me some vision that Charlie Marlen is okay. She's in a better place, and honestly, I will make peace after that. In fact, I was even saying it in an arrogant way. That very morning, after I said that, one of the doctors from a psychologist who had been seeing Marlen calls me and says, this is around 6 a.m. Oh, she wants to pass by their house to pay her respects. It's been exactly a week. And so she comes and she's like, do I remember when I walked in, the day Marlen died, I walked in on the psychologist and Marlen having an argument. And I just stepped out because, she was the psychologist and all of that. And then that day happened and I just sort of forgot it. So she was like, do you remember that? I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, Marlen was telling her that she had a dream in the early hours of the morning that she was in this magical place. She wasn't in pain. She was dressed nicely. Her hair was flowing. She could see colors and things that she couldn't describe. And she could see her sister, but her sister could not see her. And she kept on like, so hey, and her sister could not see her. But the place was so peaceful. There was so much love. She had no pain. She was like in the best shape that she's ever been in. And she told the psychologist, today she's ready to go. And the psychologist stood up and was like, no, Marlen, don't say that. Marlen was like, you don't know what I saw. I know what I saw. It was magical. I know what I saw. And no, Marlen, and that's what I came to see. In that moment in my spirit, immediately, something told me, Claude, that is why you witnessed 2 of those dreams come to pass, so that you will believe that last one. That last one ties into the Hebrews 11, 1-3 verse. In verse 3, it says that the world that we see was not born out of what is visible. There is something beyond this plane. I understand that, the sovereignty of God is supreme, and there's just so much we don't understand about the mystery of life, right? And that Marlen is actually in this space with God in love. As we move on ahead from this tragedy, we have gained a deeper understanding and a better resolution of who God is, and we continue to know Him more, and we continue to lean on Him, because it's only He who can give us healing out of a tragedy like this. I know there's so many people with all different kinds of tragedies, right? Different things that have happened to them. And for me, my message is that we serve a bigger God with a bigger plan. And our lives cannot just be reduced to what our perspective of the world is, or a perspective borrowed from the current popular worldview, right? But we need to reorient our perspective to God's perspective, and to know that through all tragedy, God is still King, and God is the one who is in control of everything, especially for His children. I know with confidence that Marlen is in heaven. I know she's with God. I know that she played her role. She was a believing Christian.
you.